So I'm just going to start with the story. When I was much younger, way before I was involved with law enforcement, I had this idea I wanted to be an artist. And this was in New York. I lived in a fifth floor walk-up, tiny studio, and I wanted to be a painter. So I'd wait tables during the day and stay up late doing watercolors. I'd be up until 3, 4, 5 in the morning. That's how I noticed I had this neighbor. Every day at 3:30, his alarm would go off and he'd say, "Not again." Then, at exactly 4:15, he'd unlock his door and descend down the stairs. But I never saw him. One day I couldn't stand it anymore. I needed to see this guy. So at exactly 4:15, I heard him fumble his lock and I went to my front door. The door had this big peephole, about this big, with a giant metal plate you had to slide away to look through. So I turned off my light, went to the front door, slid the plate aside, and looked through. And I screamed. An involuntary scream that comes out like that. A real scream. It's much different. It's not a movie scream. So I screamed until I fall back against the bathroom door, causing a huge commotion that go down. Because what had happened was, when I looked through the people, I saw an eye. He was looking in at me. And I'm on the floor and I just freeze. Finally, from the other side of the door, I hear him pick up his keys and head down the stairs. Now I had to see this guy. So I picked myself back up, went back to the door, and went through. There's that eye again. It's mine. It's the reflection of my own eye. I realize it's just in time to see a freaked out postman heading down the stairs. That was the most scared I've ever been. And it was just me staring me. The only other time I've heard a scream like that, what a real scream sounded like, was that night, when 241 people made it all at the same time. I told Candelaria that story and she said, "You're missing part of the lesson. There was more than just one thing that scared you that night. It was mostly about being startled. What was the first thing you did? You turned off the lights. People are naturally scared of the dark." I want to do a good job, but I can already tell I'm not, and it's the stupid things. Being in a new place gets you in ways that you don't expect. Like, why are there 2 conference rooms with the same name? The fax machine, do you press 9, do you not press 9? And the people are not, just edit this part out, please. The people are not as kind as I would be in their situation. And I still don't know where the paper goes into the fax machine.
It was a printer.
So, I'm thinking, how did things get worse? And then the whole incident goes down, and things get worse, and worse, and worse.
From Norma Pike to Adelaide Pike, April 2nd, 1947. My dear sister, I miss you. I miss you so much, and there's no one anywhere in Minichup I can tell this to. I'm disgusted with myself. I had Jonathan all to myself for 3 hours, and yet I said nothing. We had dinner at Chauncey's cream room, but it was somber. Jonathan's been so quiet ever since Pat moved to San Francisco. Why do men have so few friends? He didn't talk, and I couldn't think of anything to say except for the question, and I simply wasn't brave enough to ask it. Minichup, April 4th. Pike to Adelaide Pike, May 25th, 1947. He said yes! Oh, Adelaide, I can't tell you how happy I am! Saturday night, we walked up on the bluff and stared out at the lights on the ships. When he looked away, I got down on one knee and held out Grandfather's wedding band. "What are you doing?" he asked. I said, "What does it look like I'm doing?" "That's not how it's supposed to be done." I said, "Jonathan, we're going to be married for at least 50 years. No one needs to know how it began." "Adelaide, I feel lit from within, electrified. But this time, I promise, not in a bad way. I must rush off. The Crowleys are coming over, so I have to buy a new sofa." From Norma Pike to Adelaide Pike, June 3rd, 1947. My apologies for not being more clear on the topic of the Crowleys and the sofa. You see, last week I was certain that Jonathan would rebuff my proposal. It drove me positively frenzied. The morning before I proposed, I was alone in the house, so I kicked the south wall of the living room as hard as I could with my shoe. I did it again, and again, and again, until I was calm. The movers arrived just in time that I was able to blame them for the dents in the wall. June 1947. My dear sister, every moment of every day is the happiest time of my life. The only shadow is that it's so easy to tip Jonathan into silence. He was so quiet after I made a joke about the kilt he was wearing for the Scottish festival. And then yesterday I said, "Darling, please don't misconstrue this, but I'm happy your business failed. Finally, you're all mine." Then, September 24th, Adelaide, they put Jonathan in jail. It's ridiculous. They're saying that he had something to do with that boy who went missing. It's unbelievable. They won't even tell me why they suspect him.
Letter from Gander to Samson Benet. The trial proceeds well. On the stand, Mrs. Tumble pointed to a scratch on the flow rake. It was found in Mr. Morris's furnished room. She positively identified it as a flow rake that belonged to her son. Mrs. Tumble is not our only ally. Watch the jury as they watch Miss Pike. When her fiancé grimaces, she grimaces. When he looks downcast, so does she. She impeaches herself as a character witness. You must not appear too eager.
Excerpt from the transcript of the trial of the courthouse privacy of incrimination of Jonathan Holmes.
So the flow rake, you claim you picked it up on the beach, is that correct?
Yes.
Why would you do that?
I don't know. I just did.
Were you afraid you might drown?
Laughter in the courtroom.
Objection! Sustained.
On the afternoon of May 30th, the afternoon of Marcus Tumble's disappearance, claimed to have been taking a long walk, 4-hour walk, on the beach, is that correct?
Yes.
Your theater.
Most of the audience would later report that they believed her to be a part of the performance.
This theater will go down in history, but not in the way you had hoped. No one will think of this dank shell of oak without thinking of the 3 people who died because of it. The boy who suffocated in it, the man murdered because of the boy, and the woman who cursed the building for all time by drowning in it.
Some looked away, and the rest wished they had.
As she put the glass to her throat and tipped it back.
Aspirated the entire contents of the glass.
Poured it straight into her throat.
Swallowed it without swallowing.
Her eyes bore into the audience until they went dark and she fell dead to
In front of 700 people, Norma Pike drowned herself with a glass of seawater.
Was she leaving early? No. Look at the way she fell. She was running, and she's wearing earbuds. She wasn't paying attention to the play. Can you tell me what she was listening to? It's classic. Gymnopédie No. 1. Gymnopédie No. 1 by Eric Satie. Yeah. Something else is strange, H. Is something wrong?
No, I didn't know you knew my name.
What do you notice that's strange about the positions of all these bodies?
The programs. So many people are holding them.
That's what I noticed too.
Holding them like this, like they've been trying to read them until the very last minute.
It was the speed that blew me. What could have overcome that many people that fast? Maybe an electrical impulse? Or maybe a kind of gas had overcome them. We scoured the ventilation system, but we found nothing.
I was in the theater a lot.
Is the seating chart PO Box? A13, B41. What do you notice?
Nothing.
Next was F42.
So, front row, aisle, then on the other side of the aisle.
Then it was Lisa Ray Lee in L19.
So on the back of row F, which is the horizontal aisle to the middle. It started from the front, the back, and the sides.
Exactly. It works that way until the 26th person, Franklin James.
I know Frank.
Whatever happened to these people, it started at the edges and worked its way in. Like something cooking.
This doesn't seem like a natural phenomenon. It seems like a tactic.
Agreed.
241 people fall unconscious one by one, like they've been snuck up on. But that doesn't make any sense because if
Alaska till I was 10, so I have really good hearing. Your ears are always covered.
It's like, sure,